Ladies, I don't know if you're like me, but I like my conversations like I like my drinks. Straight, no chaser. Is that job killing your soul? Well, it's time to leave that cubicle farm and dump that job like a bad ex-boyfriend and leap into entrepreneurship full time. I am Linda Otterbridge, your host of the No Plan B Entrepreneur Podcast, where I interview fierce lady bosses who have pursued their dreams and did so without a safety net. Welcome to the No Plan B Entrepreneur Podcast. So, Ro, what do you like to go by, Ro? Roshanda, Ro, what do you like me to say today?
People who really like me call me Rosho.
Rosho. Thank you. I like you. So we're going to be Rosho. Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's get going. Well, today, the No Plan B Entrepreneur, straight no chaser. We have a guest today, and I've been trying to catch this lady forever because this is one of my top 5 first guests that I wanted on the No Plan B Entrepreneur, straight no chaser, the real conversations on what it's like to just jump right in show. So today our guest is the Rosho, Roshanda Pratt, and I definitely have to read her bio because she's everywhere. I've been on her page. I first bumped into, read about Roshanda. She was posting something about, I just had this event. And while you're looking for guest speakers for your events, I realized I can be my own guest speaker. That's when I first heard her Facebook Live. So when I think it was a Facebook Live. I heard it and I was like, we're running around looking for guests for shows. You're right, we can be our own. That's when I first learned of Roshanda Pratt. So let me tell you a little bit more about the Rosho. Let's get going here. Roshanda Pratt is a digital media pioneer empowering brands to tell their compelling story. Yes, she said that compelling story. As a storyteller and live video strategist, she utilizes her 20 years experience in the television industry, news industry to transform, teach, and train brands to amplify their voice and monetize their story on social media through live video. People, she said monetize, not storytelling for free. She said monetize. Recently, she authored an Amazon bestseller, CEO of Live Video, a step-by-step guide on how to engage and convert your live audience. Lord, don't I need that? Roshanda is considered a vocal champion for entrepreneurs who can no longer remain silent about their brand. She and her husband, Jacoby, and I hope I said this right, are creating beautiful stories with 4 children in South Carolina. Oh my God, I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina for a while. Anything in the Carolinas I'm excited about. So welcome to our show, Roshanda Pratt, and I know she has a lot to share, so I'm going to let her start talking about what she has to offer and what she want to tell us today. Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. This is really awesome. I think there's something really special when people decide to bet on themselves and start something new, and they allow you to be a part of the genesis of a project. You know, I think there's something really special about that. When anybody asks you to be a part of a project, it's special. But when they ask you to be a part of the first phase of the project, I think there's something really unique and special about that. So I am honored and privileged to be here to share and talk with you today and share with your audience. This is going to be a lot of fun and really impactful.
I'm looking forward to it. Well, I don't know where to start with your questions because I would love for you to just talk for this 45 minutes.
Sure.
So I'm sure if you just talk, it'll wrap its way around. But I do know that I want to share with the audience about your business and what led you to jumping in without a net. And I know you had a plan B, but what led you to?
I really didn't.
And that's why you're a perfect guest. So.
I got rid of that plan B long time ago because I realized, I am a believer. I believe in Jesus. And I learned as being a woman of faith, you just can't have a plan B and say you're in faith. And,
it's
very difficult for me because I'm professionally trained to have a plan B. So I worked in television news for 20 years as a television news producer, executive morning show producer, and I did some things on camera. And one of the things that we're trained as a producer is always have a plan B, because technology is not going to work.
Right.
Your reporter's live shot's going to go to black. Your reporter's going to stumble on air, look like a deer in headlights. The prompter is not going to work. So you always go into a show thinking the worst. Seriously. What's going to be my backup plan in case this happens?
Right.
But I realized that though that worked in the professional arena, that doesn't really work in the faith arena. So 3 years ago, Periscope came out, and Periscope is the first platform that allowed all of us, and I say all of us, gave all of us the opportunity to build that know, like, and trust factor using our phone and doing live streaming.
Right.
And I remember I was working in the overnight shift, so I was an executive morning show producer, and we just finished 2.5 hours of news. CBS This Morning came on, and Gail and Nora were talking about this cool app called Periscope. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about it, Linda, much like, and you guys can do a Google search of this, when Katie Couric was talking about this thing called the internet. Right? You know, many of you probably remember that. She was on there. I forgot what her co-host name was at the time. It's slipping my mind here at the time. And they were sitting there talking about, there's this new thing that our producers keep telling us about called the internet. And you have to use an address like www. It's supposed to be a game changer. Here we are still talking about the internet.
Oh, my
right?
goodness.
Right? And so they were talking about it. And immediately I was like, things were going off. I was excited. My coworkers, not so much. But I was excited because I knew that this app was going to give me, especially as a business owner, the opportunity to do what I learned many years working in television news, which is this: pictures and words make the perfect marriage.
Oh, I love it.
Pictures and words make the perfect marriage. And so I knew that if I can get in front of this crowd, it would be an opportunity for people to engage with me than simply just posting something, right? And so I would get off work, going to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I said 3 a.m. And then I'd get off work at like 10 a.m. And then I would go home and play with this Periscope app to see, how does this thing work? How do you engage? Taking much of what I learned 20 years in television. And so I started doing it. And then coworkers started watching. Then other people started watching. And then we started building this thing, the Rosho Live, which is a name that I've gotten working in television, in the television industry. And what was so crazy about the Rosho Live is that it was a TV nickname, right, Linda?
Right.
But people who were watching me in the Periscope world started calling me Rosho. Oh, it's time for the Rosho. And I was just like, how is this thing
made up a name for you?
So we decided to brand it. We trademarked it within the last year, so we own it. And I was just like, the Rosho Live. So it became a thing. And here I am, 3 years later, left my job at the TV station 7 months ago to really help entrepreneurs, brands, corporations, influencers to amplify their voice and monetize their story, both on air and online.
And that's the story.
And that's the story.
Rosho Live.
Rosho Live.
My goodness.
Amazing journey.
Have a plan B. She said, no. It just happened just like this.
The only plan I had was betting on myself. That was it.
There you go.
When I left that television station, I didn't have all the clients that I have now, and I really don't have, I'm not at capacity.
Right.
But when I left, I just knew that I needed to transition and leave. When you're traveling every weekend and you're trying to use up all your vacation days and you haven't even gotten to the remainder of the year yet, you realize, you know what, we may be on to something. When your coworkers make comments like, I'm just waiting for you to quit because I know you're not going to be long.
No.
When your coworkers make comments of like, Ro, how do I do this live video thing? You're the queen of it. You start to realize, wait a minute, I may be on to something here. And so I just, left 7 months ago, talked to my husband about it, and we prayed about it. Definitely committed to a lot of prayer, but I knew it was time for me to shift. And I just said, you know what? I got a full house. I can't lose this hand. And I'm going to
stop it. Would you stop it?
Yeah.
She said, people, did you hear what she said? She said, I got a full house.
Full flush. I got it. I got all the cards in my hand, and I'm just going to bet on me, and I'm going to take the risk.
Now, this is what we're talking about when we say the no plan B entrepreneur. You have to have something. And show live just said her bet on herself was faith. Now everybody got
I don't
something
think people
different.
do that enough, friend. I don't think they do.
What
Let
you
me talk to you about that. I don't think people bet on themselves enough. And let me tell you, I worked 20 years in television. So if you think about what has happened in our country, in our world in the last 20 years, I have had the great pleasure of covering it. From 9/11, the Charleston 9 shooting, the war on terror, the good stories that you heard of, you know, in Sully and the Hudson and the plane was going to Hudson Heights. You know, all of the stories you can think of in the last 20 years, I've covered it. But in covering those stories, you know what else I covered, Linda?
What?
People who gave their life to a factory for 15 years, show up to work, and there is a padlock on the door.
Ooh.
No forwarding address, no one they can contact.
And no plan B.
Recently in our community, in our state, 4 generations, a family, 4 generations working at a particular place. And all of a sudden, the project goes belly under because of poor mismanagement. 4 generations. Guess what? Those people were betting on their job to be there. We bet on our jobs, and there's nothing wrong with being employed, because I want to make sure that people understand that. Listen, I'm an entrepreneur, but I also know that my job 7 months ago, how many months ago, they were my first angel investor. So a lot of stuff I was able to do because they were my first angel investor, and I treated them like that. Now, what I'm saying is about betting on yourself. A lot of times people go to these jobs and they put all of their stock in there.
Yes.
They don't put that much stock in. Let me get a certification.
Yes.
Let me go to school and take some night courses. Let me take some online courses. I mean, there's so much online space that you don't need to pay for some of this stuff. I mean, if you have an iPhone, you can go to Apple University and download and learn about marketing and a business plan. But people don't bet on themselves. They bet on a job who can, and I've seen TV. I've seen this. They you on air by 12 and they kicked you out by 1 p.m.
Stop it.
I've seen it happen. You're on air at noon, and by 12:45, they said, we no longer need your services. Please pack your box and leave. So what I'm saying is, why not take all of that vigor and decide to bet on yourself? You know, when I was working and creating PowerPoint presentations and building this brand, I still had to get up at 2:45 in the morning. But every single day, everything I was doing is for this moment of betting on myself, building for myself, because I knew that, listen, I'm not going to become the millionaire I want to become. I'm not going to make the impact I want to make doing what I was doing currently.
Exactly. You won't get there.
I had to pivot and shift and do something different.
You know, this show could go on, just saying. Because I'm writing notes, and everything I'm writing is a new show title. It's like another show title.
I love it.
Another show title.
I love it.
Because I have never heard anyone say that your current job employed is your first angel investor.
It is.
Now, I have never thought about it that way.
That part. That means you can't be over there cussing your boss out.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
Because they're your first angel investor. They may not know they're investing in your side hustle, your, wanna-be-preneur, your next thing. They may not know that.
Don't tell them that, though, but.
And what you learn on that job prepares you for what you're going to do in your job. Because when you become the boss, you don't want anybody stealing your pens.
Yes. Think about that. More notes. Just saying. Hold on 1 second. I heard pivot, shift. I heard bet on yourself. I heard.
Yeah. Real life. You're
talking like
every day.
20 years. 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you just said, like you said, someone else said it for you.
Yeah.
You built your brand in-house.
Yeah, and it was time to pivot. And I had great experiences. By God's grace, I had left on good terms. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was meeting with a producer, and she was getting ready to go to another television station. We were having a discussion, and she said, "Roshanda, you left a legacy there." And I said, "Really?" She's like, "Yes." Like sometimes we say to ourselves, "What will Roshanda do? Would she do this? No, Ro wouldn't do that. And she's like, you've left a legacy there. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have connections with people in the industry that still know me and love me and inbox me and say, man, we see what you're doing and what you're doing is amazing. We're so proud of you. Could I do that? I count that to be honorable, because when I think, one thing that I learned, I'm a storyteller. One of the things I learned with stories is stories, your story, whoever you're watching, ladies and gentlemen, your story gives others permission. Now listen to that. There's a big responsibility in that. Your story gives others permission. You ready for this? That means whether you show up for your life or not, you're still giving people permission to show up for theirs or not. You're still giving them permission, because stories give permission. So if you decide that you're not going to show up and you're still going to be a hidden figure, then you're permitting everybody in your life to do the same.
Yes. Now you'll make me want to go just get my box. I gotta go look for a box, take to work tomorrow, because now you will have me going to work, going.
Yeah.
Okay. Today I am. No, I'm not doing that. But I really have. I gotta do a little bit more. But I just love it though. I love it because it is true. People are watching. People are always watching you. And I can tell you, employees, your friends, your peers at work, they know. They know you're doing the entrepreneurship, you're doing a side hustle when you're at work. They know all that.
Right.
They're always looking around. When is she going to leave? And they'll prompt you. They'll move you if you're not ready to move. They will move you along. So
I don't want you to go, Ro, but when you're leaving, just give me a heads up before you leave. You know, it's been an amazing journey. I mean, you think about it, I started on this app 3 years ago, didn't have a sparkly background, just had a white wall and a message in my heart.
See,
because sometimes we don't start
people
because we think, oh, I need all of these things before I started. But when I started, I look at those beginning videos and I think, wow, I was doing okay, but man, I've gotten better. You know, it's not perfection. It's about progress. We strive for progress, not perfection. And so I started, had a white wall, made sure I had the natural light shining in on me, but I had a powerful message. And the more I did that, I mean, here we are 3 years and some change later. And, you know, the next couple of months, I'm going to be going to Paris, France to speak internationally. And I wrote a book that became an Amazon bestseller, teaching people how to use live video, CEO of live video. I've been on stages across the country speaking to people about this. And I'm just thinking like, wow, this is not bad for a girl who failed a grade, had low self-esteem, struggled with the fact that she was sexually assaulted, didn't like her voice, didn't like how she looked on camera. This is not bad.
Ooh, not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Congratulations.
This is what I learned. I learned, Linda, that my mess is a part of my message. And once I embrace the mess in my message, I'm able to go and talk to people through their pain and realize your pain is just part of the purpose.
Okay, let's see. I can't get caught up. I'm just scribbling everywhere. I got notes everywhere because I'm telling you, I'm so moved by it. I want to jump out this chair. That's what I want to do.
Wow.
I need the interview right now. But I do want to jump out this chair because everything literally, I could just feel my skin crawl. I mean, it is really prickly because it's where it's so much that everything you just said. I didn't read that in your bio. So you shared quite a bit about your past and where you were, where you are now, and you're here. So that tells people you can do it as well. You can do it too.
Your past is just a foundation. It is one sentence in the chapter. It's not the full story unless you decide to make it the full story. And see, I just decided I wasn't going to make it the full story. It's just a part of the story, but it's a complete story. And I'm just telling you, I have learned that God really does give beauty for ashes. It's amazing.
Stop it. Because I'm done. I cannot finish this interview. I can't finish it because I want to jump on the chair. Then I want to cry. Then I want to let it cry.
I mean, seriously, Linda, I really am grateful to God. And I mean, I know this probably is not a faith-based thing, but I can't stop.
Faith-based thing.
Okay. It's who I am. And I mean, I don't make any apologies for it because I just sit here and marvel at the fact that, man, God, you are really right when you say
Awesome.
that you will give beauty for ashes. And
Mm.
I feel like I am the perfect example of that. I was the kid that had to study hard. You know, I had to repeat a grade. I think I took the SAT 2 or 3 times. I still didn't make a high score. I was always a kid that had to work hard in school. Just couldn't get math, but oh my goodness, just couldn't get math. But one of the things that I was really great at is I knew how to make friends. I knew how to speak up for myself, and I knew how to use my voice until I allowed circumstances and situations to silence my voice. But once I got my voice back, Linda, I decided that I no longer had the right to remain silent. And if you're in my camp, and if you're with me, or if you're my client, you no longer have the right to remain silent either.
Y'all heard it? Can you repeat that?
You no longer have the right to remain silent. And just know, if you're going to say something, you better say something of value. Because we have enough Periscope phonies, Facebook fakers. We have enough people who are hijacking and stealing somebody else's message. Live your message.
Let your my message is a part. My mess is a part of my message.
That's right.
Let your mess be a part of your message. Don't steal nobody else's mess to make it part of your message.
That's right.
I can paraphrase it, but anyway, that's what she just said. Let your own message be your own message.
That's it.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't even have no questions for you. What else you have to say? Girl, because everything you're saying is just so on point, because everybody has to have their own story. Simple as that.
Yeah.
You're going to leave a job. You're going to jump right in. You're going to do all this stuff. Know your why. Why are you doing it?
That's right.
What valuable? What is the value that you're giving to someone? Not just going off just to be going off, but and your reasonings and all the things that you chose to make that jump and that leap and that leaving the, I don't know if you want to call it a cubicle fire, but leave it whatever you want to call it. You left.
We don't really have cubicles in the newsroom. It's more like a table with a desk with a computer on it.
When you left your desk, but you didn't have much to clean up, did you? You didn't have much to clean up. Like, just take your little box, take your little stuff in, and mosey on out the way.
So true.
So you didn't have much to clean up. 20 years, and you didn't have a lot to take, so it made it a lot easier. But I can tell you, there are some people out there that are crazy afraid, and they know they got it. They know they're ready. Everybody know they're ready. Can you tell, and you mentioned a lot, but for the individuals, backsliders, who have left and may have to come back, or who are just straddling the fence, of fear of getting out there, what can you share? And that could be a major challenge that you may have faced while you were out there, because I know Plan B is scary, because everybody's not good with uncertainty.
Right. Oh, I understand.
Everybody's not good with that. It's like,
I don't think fear ever leaves. I just think I've learned how to do it afraid. If people understood, I do it
afraid.
If you're waiting for fear to leave, it won't. Fear is a horrible taskmaster. So if you're waiting for it to leave, it's not going to ever. I think what causes fear to shift and be minimized is when you show up. And when you decide, I'm just going to do it afraid. I'm going to take this risk, or I'm going to put myself out there on social media, or I'm going to pay for this website to get done. I mean, let me tell you something. I was so excited when I bought a business tool for my business. It was quite the investment, right? And I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'll think about it. There's several things, but I was just like, when I bought my first Mac, like a Mac computer.
Oh my goodness, that's a serious investment.
Right. I walked around the store. I had the money. I walked around the store. And this is when, I had left a job because I set business goals for myself. So I said, okay, when you meet this certain level, you can go and make this purchase. I met my criteria so I could go buy this thing. My husband and I did the research. I'm walking around the store. The guy goes someplace else. I'm calling back, asking questions. Finally, my husband says to me, just do it already. He said,
Look at
we've
that.
been in here 45 minutes. He's like, go and do it. And I was just like, are you sure? You sure? I mean, can I afford this? He's just like, Roshanda, you met your goal. You have the money. Just go and buy the thing already. And it was one of those things like sometimes, sis, you just need somebody to give you permission. And I'm telling you what, those who are watching this, I'm giving you permission to go do it afraid. And so I bought this thing and I'm just like, man, it was the greatest investment in my business. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then I realized it doesn't come with a case.
Uh-oh.
And I was just like, this thing doesn't have a case. So then I was just like, now ready for this? Now this is, I didn't buy a desktop Mac. I bought a laptop Mac.
Right.
Because that's just feasible for how I live my life, you know? Right. And I was like, I'm just going to go to Five Below. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that.
Oh, we have a Five Below. You can do a lot in there.
Right? I said, oh, they have cute laptop bags. I'm just going to buy one. Now, mind you, I bought this thing from Best Buy. They had the things in there. So I go in there and I'm picking up a thing. And here's what I hear the Lord say to me. He said, so let me get this straight. See, sometimes my Jesus is gangster. That's how he talks to me. Sometimes he talks to me, you're gangster. This is what he says to me. Linda, here's what he says. So let me get this straight. You just made an over $1,500 investment in a laptop and you're going to put that in a $5 bag? He said, let me make sure I'm understanding what you're about to do here. And I said, you're right. I went back, took my husband back to Best Buy.
Your husband was like, here we go.
And I bought the one that was $50. Here's what the lesson was. Because we're talking about fear. Here's what the lesson was. We are sometimes fearful to invest in ourselves. So here it was, my husband had given me permission to make this purchase. Right. And I was still fearful. See, this is the point of fear not leaving. Yes. Yes. I was still fearful. And oh my gosh, can I pay $50? I had the money. Can I pay $50 for a laptop bag? I mean, is that being fiscally responsible? What's not so responsible is taking something that's $1,500 plus and putting in a $5 thing that's going to break. Or doesn't give it its proper padding.
Exactly.
So I bought it and I just was like, okay, that's easy. And guess what happened? Now it's easier for me to make investments.
Look at that.
It's easier for me to take a class that's $9.97. It's easy that when somebody tells me, oh, well, this is how much it's going to cost to do this. Oh, okay.
Okay. Here you go.
Why? Because I've done it already. So I'm not fearful in it because I did it afraid. And the more you train yourself in that, the easier it is to do it.
Do it afraid, people. You heard what she said. Quit waiting. Fear is not going anywhere. It's not going to disappear, sneak off you in the middle of the night. It's not going to slide off your skin.
People knew how much I do afraid. It's like, okay, I'm just going to do it afraid.
And you look so comfortable.
This company, do it afraid.
But just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. We're not gonna mess with your Nike. We're not gonna touch you.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it afraid.
Do it afraid. You be all hemmed up. Like, what happened? We didn't steal it. We just said do it afraid.
Just do it afraid.
Okay. You have so much. I'm telling you. Did you say fear is a horrible taskmaster?
Horrible taskmaster. And you can't be in fear and faith at the same time. Just doesn't work.
Say that again. Can't be
in fear and faith at the same time. It does not work. It doesn't work.
I know this is a podcast interview, but it's also a class and training. Just want you to know. I'm taking notes like I'm in a workshop in class. I just want you to know, people. So
I love it.
so okay. I don't even know. Okay. Oh, we're doing good with time. 30 minutes. So my next question is mentors.
Yeah.
What mentors do you have? If you have any, do you suggest people have mentors and why?
I do suggest that people have mentors. I believe that people who try to do it alone, lone rangers usually end up gone rangers.
Oh,
I knew you
cannot. You girl.
Write that one down. Lone rangers usually end up gone rangers. And so I do believe that you should have mentors. One of the things that my pastor taught me, and I have taken this on in business, is actually one of my business mantras. If you're doing anything significant and it doesn't require people, then it's not that significant.
Lord knows I need to hear that because I just like okay.
I mean, if you think of every major thing that's happened in history, both good and bad, it required a team of people. You look at Hitler, he had a team of people who believed in his crazy vision. You look at Dr. King, he had people who believed in his vision and were willing to work alongside him. Two men from two different parts of history and two different impacts of history, but they both understood they need people. So I do believe in mentors. I do have mentors, but here's what I'm going to say. If you don't have a mentor and you haven't found one, don't feel like you can't move forward without it.
Right.
You keep working until you find a mentor. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't have a mentor, so that means I can't do anything. Well, there's still something you can do until you find your mentor, right?
Right.
So I have mentors. I have a mentor, Tia Brewer-Footman, who is amazing, who basically helped me discover that I was a storyteller strategist. I mean, she's the one that named me that. Storyteller strategist and heartfelt producer. My pastor, Bishop Marcus Benjamin, he is a mentor of mine. He talks to me a lot. He was the first person who told me it was my first entrepreneur endeavor, which was a jewelry company, that I needed to leave that and pursue something else. And I was just so devastated, Linda. But here's
my jury.
Yeah. Well, here's what I learned from that. Sometimes your first thing is not the first thing. It's just the first thing to get you started. And that's what it was. It was the first thing to get me started on this journey of entrepreneurship. He's definitely a mentor. Mia Redrick, she's the mom strategist. She's amazing. You can follow her on Periscope. She's a mentor of mine. I just talked to Mia today, and every time I get off the phone with her, I feel like I got to do better. You got to have people in your life, ladies and gentlemen, that compel you to want to do and be better. Like, you can't be the smartest kid in the room.
She's dropping names. Y'all got those names? Better
Yeah,
she's dropping some serious nuggets.
Yeah, and of course, I'm surrounded by a powerful group of women who push me, who challenge me, who support me, who love me, who can I just say this? Who are not impressed that I'm the Rosho Live, but they know me as Roshanda Pratt. They know me as these 4 kids' mamas. You know, Jacoby's wife. Seriously.
Exactly. They don't care about that Rosho stuff.
And one of them is my trainer. I started working out.
I've seen her on your videos.
Yeah. And Tamara Brown told me one day in the gym, she's like, listen, I'm not training the Rosho Live. I'm training Roshanda Pratt.
Look at that.
And I said, okay.
Let me get back to mine.
So you need to have people in your life who are not impressed by all the things that you've done. They celebrate you,
right,
but they're not impressed by that. They're not enamored and wowed by you, but they celebrate you, but they're not a fan.
Right. And they know, for me, we know you back when you grew up in Saginaw, you know.
Right.
Don't play, we know you from Saginaw. You ain't, girl.
You mentioned Saginaw.
I told you that. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. You know, I told you, girl. Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Born and lived there for 8 years.
Look at that. And
small world.
Born in Baton Rouge, but raised in Saginaw. And that's we were talking. I said, you from Saginaw?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Crazy. Yeah. Oh, Lordy. So last thing, I'm trying to keep up with this time. Mm-hmm. You have so much. I don't even know where to.
Bring me back again. Let's do it again.
Oh, we're going to be back again because most of these are going to be a part 1, part 2. So definitely, thank you. The last things I do want to wrap it up is the biggest lesson you've learned, and you've learned a lot, I'm sure, but give me 1 or 2 lessons you've learned over your 7 months.
Yeah. Okay. Biggest lesson.
And that's good or bad. It's whatever.
So much I've learned. I actually keep a journal of whenever I go to speaking engagements, business things, of the lessons that I learned. So I think the 2 biggest lessons I would say, it's not about the quantity of people in a room, but the quality of people in a room. It's not about the quantity of people that are watching you live. You can have 400 people watching you live, but any of them are not your target audience. But it's about the quality of people that are watching you live, or the quality of people who you're speaking to, right?
Yes.
I think the other thing would be is I've learned to look at challenges differently. Instead of looking at challenges like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me again. I look at challenges like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And this is just going to be another story for me to tell, because challenges are not usually coming to say, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. Sometimes challenges to come to prove that this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. And then the third thing is, which I learned this from my coach, Tam B Fitness, where she said, the practical keeps us humble.
Mm.
So I often giggle when I'm on a stage talking to a room of 300 entrepreneurs and we sold out of all the product and books, and I'm booking more speaking engagements, and then I still have to come home and change dirty diapers.
You're like, oh, I'm home.
I still have to clean my own toilets.
You're like, okay, let's mate.
Like, what is happening here? But it's the practical that keeps us humble. It's the practical things of life that keep us humble.
Everyday life.
Yeah,
and
everyday life.
That's where they say for women entrepreneurs, we know it's multitasking. It's the nurturer. We still got the kids, the husband.
Right.
Everybody else, the family members we got to take care of, and family members we got to visit and make sure mom's okay.
Yes.
Nothing changes with that.
Yeah.
Nothing. I love great messages, great lessons, just everything. I want to end this by what is next for you? What is going on with you that we need to look out for?
Right. Well, definitely stay connected to me across all social media platforms at The Rosho, TheRosholive, The Rosho Live.
Okay.
What's next? We're working on a couple of projects that I can't say anything yet.
Oh, okay.
But you definitely need to stay connected to me, because it's definitely going back to this whole mantra that we have here in our business, that you're a VIP, that visibility is power.
I was hoping you were going to talk about that, because I love that.
And it's helping women and a couple of brave dudes who I get a chance to work with understand that you have to come out from the shadows, that you have a message, you have something to say, but your visibility is power. And we have a couple of things that are really cool that are happening with that. We're doing a lot more traveling, and we're really excited about that. But our focus is on, what's coming up in 2020, and we're really excited about that.
I love it. All I know is, people, stay connected. She told you where to find her. You get lost and you take a detour, that's you. If you blink, and you may miss her if you blink, so keep your eyes open, keep her on your radar. Paris, we wish you the best. Have fun in Paris. Have a good time. We can't wait to hear about it. And VIP people, she's serious, because that's the message. I forgot. That's what it was. You were talking about VIP. I said, what is this? Visibility is power. That is so moving. Don't hide behind the shadows, people. You got to get out. Be a VIP and get out there. The storyteller of the century, of the world, Miss The Rosho. I'm not going to say Roshanda Pratt, because we're friends. It's The Rosho Live. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to see you again. And we just thank you for all your messages. I would love to go over my notes, people, but I can't, because I have to disseminate all this, because I have so many great things she said. But we're going to end that with visibility is power. The No Plan B entrepreneur, straight no chaser conversation was crazy today. I wanted to jump out the chair, so I know you're going to jump out the chair as well. So thank you again for just taking the time to join us in our show.
Sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. And we will talk soon. Have a good one.